Welcome to this episode of Wiki Walks, a short podcast devoted to some of the more intriguing and, who knew, articles that you can run across in the weird world of Wikipedia. I'm your host, Chris Grismer. Hey all, this is our 50th episode. Pretty fun, huh? So why don't you do your boy a favor, and if you're listening via the iOS podcast app on your iPhone there, why don't you go leave us a nice little review to help bump our show up a bit and maybe get it into the sets of some more AirPods and car speakers and whatnot. You know, a little 5-star, hey, how you doing? All right, well, now that we got that out of the way, let's have some fun. Humans have come up with many strange ways to kill people, including an array of different types of bombs. Bombs, such as the barrel bomb, which is just a big barrel full of nasty things that caused so much damage they were deemed unethical, like, shrapnel, tear gas, chlorine. There was a famous bouncing bomb, the British invention that bounced on water towards a designated target. When it hit the target, it would then sink and blow up underwater. Then people got smarter and created bombs that had guidance systems, and after that, normal bombs were often called dumb bombs. But it was the good old US of A that came up with, without a doubt, the weirdest bomb in the history of mankind, the bat bomb. Holy ordnance, Batman! If you're thinking the word bat is used as a metaphor for something, you're wrong. Bat bombs were actually just living, breathing bats. They were Mexican free-tailed bats, which are super abundant in North America. These little rascals are said to be the fastest moving animal in the world when flying straight. They can reach speeds of 99 miles per hour. Now, the peregrine falcon is faster, however, only when in a dive, as they can get up to 242 miles per hour, but let's get back to bats. The bat bomb was the idea of a Pennsylvania dentist named Little S. Adams. He was friendly with the then Second Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. Mr. Adams told her about his idea for a bat bomb, and her husband, old Franklin, gave the crazy idea the thumbs up. The idea was to create a bomb that consisted of a large case with around 1,000 small compartments. In each compartment, a bat was placed, and attached to it was an explosive that was on a timer. The plan was that during World War II, planes would fly over Japanese cities and release the bomb. It would drift down by parachute, and then the compartments would open in the air, and the bats would fly out, heading to Japanese houses, factories, and warehouses, where they would find a home and explode in 15 minutes. As many buildings in Japan were made of wood, when the device went off, it was hoped that all those bats would cause havoc, starting fires everywhere. Now, bats are very strong and can carry more than they weigh, so that was good. It was shown that these little bats could carry a half-ounce bomb, about 18 grams, which could cause sufficient damage. The bats were also easy to catch with nets, as millions could be found in caves. As they hibernated, they were what you might call low maintenance to look after. To put them into hibernation, they would just place them in cooling trays. As bats are creatures of the night, if they released them in the morning, the first thing they would do was look for a secluded place to hide, and the Americans believed that would be a house. A dumb idea for a smart bomb? It sounded crazy, but President Roosevelt believed in it. In a letter to FDR, Adams insisted that we need not worry about the morals of incinerating countless bats, as the bat is, quote, the lowest form of animal life, and reasons for its creation have remained unexplained. At least until Adam provided an explanation. God made bats to carry out Adam's bat scheme. Or, as he put it, they were created, quote, by God to await this hour to play their part in the scheme of free human existence and to frustrate any attempt of those who dare desecrate our way of life. Listener, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Roosevelt insisted, this man is not a nut. It sounded like a perfectly wild idea, but it's worth looking into. Real quote. Sure, FDR was a 4-term president who got us out of the Depression, led the Allies to victory in World War II, built the bulk of this country's infrastructure, and the most prosperous middle class any country has ever had. But those 5 words, this man is not a nut, seriously call his judgment and place in history into question. With FDR's approval, Adams led up an Air Force project to develop the bat bomb. His team, for some wonderful reason, consisted of a movie star, an unnamed former gangster, an also unnamed former hotel manager, and chemist Louis Fazer, who developed the first synthetic vitamin K and cortisone, and, more relevant to the war effort, napalm. He told the military that those baddie bombs could unleash up to 30 times the destruction of regular bombs. Expressed in another way, the regular bombs would give probably 167 to 400 fires per bomb load, where the bat bombs would give 3,000 to 4,748 fires per load. The Marine Corps then took the program further, planning to get 1 million bats ready for the big show. The plan was to drop the casings from 5,000 feet from B-24 bombers, and the parachutes would take the flying bat hotels to 1,000 feet, and then they would be released. They gave it the name Project X-Ray. Tests had to be carried out first, of course, and in Project X-Ray documents, it's written that the tests were, quote, to determine the feasibility of using bats to carry small incendiary bombs into enemy targets. Almost poetic. That's where things started to go really wrong. After several unsuccessful attempts at strapping the bombs to the bats, Adams' team ended up just gluing the devices directly to the bats. It was said that the hardest part of this plan was making the container open mid-flight. Now, that might be easy now, but it wasn't easy in the 1940s. The Atlantic writes that one time the case opened by accident during tests at Carlsbad Auxiliary Airfield, and the bats flew everywhere. Madness ensued, and a hangar and a general's car were set on fire. They did exactly what the Army thought they'd do. They flew off, found dark places to hide. One report states base personnel, kicked off their field by the project's secret classification, watched in horror from behind locked gates as most of their facilities went up in flames. Another time the bats were released and didn't come out of their hibernation sleep. They just fell to the ground and died. During all tests, it's said that 6,000 bats were killed. They tried 30 times to test the bat bomb and spent around $2 million on the project, but it just didn't work out. They kept lighting everything on fire. The military and government believed that the money was better spent on another secret weapon, the Manhattan Project, for the development of the atomic bomb. Some people said bat bombs would have worked if given more time to test them. Adams wasn't happy about the project ending, later saying, "Think of thousands of fires breaking out simultaneously over a circle of 40 miles in diameter for every bomb dropped. Japan could have been devastated, yet with a small loss of life." It was a failure, as were exploding rats and pigeon-guided missiles. Yes, those were real, and the Americans went on further to develop weapons programs using more animals. The CIA even had a spying cat program called Acoustic Kitty that we actually might cover in a future episode. That project cost $20 million in the 60s, and it was an absolute catastrophe. Mr. Adams, meanwhile, went on to do all sorts of things, including inventing a fried chicken vending machine, as one does. It seems that didn't work out either. The irony, to me, actually, is that now that's the Japanese who are the masters of fast food vending machines, and according to Japan's Vending Machine Manufacturers Association, there's one vending machine for every 23 people in the country. But I digress. So, there you have it. Long before Hollywood ever deployed Adam West as Batman, the U.S. Army attempted to deploy friendly flying mammals as bat bombs.